for uniting U.S. lawmakers across the aisle and equipping the next generation of politicians to effectively serve communities. Layla, Zaidane, and Future Caucus. And now we have a short video about their work.
Congress these days has an obvious theme.
Every Republican should be embarrassed.
This is your time.
Don't characterize my questions as
More
democratic.
blame than legislation.
I would appreciate if you let me finish.
Partisanship today is not about debate and surfacing the best ideas. It's become something toxic that's more about power and winning. We've lost the plot in a lot of ways.
When you're back in your community and you talk to folks that you serve, they just want to see results. The Washington environment makes it tough.
A lot of young people, I think, feel disheartened by government, by
They should.
Congress.
We've given them a lot of reason to think that.
The way our politics are organized right now is you're a Democrat or you're a Republican. And that's your team, who you have lunch with, who you talk to. That is not going to change without some sort of disrupting force. What happens if you put the most effective, promising leaders of a generation in a room together? That's where Future Caucus comes in. Being able to offer lawmakers a way to build a generational identity, not a partisan identity, around which they could organize and solve problems.
I'm a sixth-generation dairy farmer. We live in a time where we see Washington, D.C., and we're like, why can't you just guys work together? Young people are already wanting to work together bipartisanly. Let's make North Dakota a better place for everyone.
We're losing the human side of legislation. I'm one of a handful of people of color and one of a handful of women. I'm banking on Representative Hawley. I'm banking on whoever else wants to be part of this. We can have those hard conversations, and we're not going to run away from it.
We invite any young lawmaker to identify places where they do have common ground, issues where they could work together to turn that into legislation, to turn that legislation into real felt impact in their constituents' lives.
The House of Representatives for the great state of North Dakota will come to order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We are officially launching the North Dakota Future Caucus today. We may not agree on everything, but we do agree on this: that North Dakota deserves leaders who roll up their sleeves and work together for the good of our state.
Last legislative session, 25% of the legislature was millennial or Gen Z, but they were responsible for 40% of the bipartisan legislation that got signed into law. We're in 36 states. We have 1,900 young elected officials from all across the country sharing good ideas, not just across party lines, but across state lines as well. And so a bill on criminal justice reform in Colorado all of a sudden becomes a bill in Vermont that the Future Caucus learns from. Housing legislation led by a Republican in Montana becomes a bill that a Democrat in Kansas introduces because of Future Caucus. The cross-pollination and the innovation that's possible when people see themselves as a part of something bigger is limitless.
Layla could not be with us in person today. She does have a decent excuse. She just gave birth to a baby girl on Friday, which is very exciting. For anyone who does want to learn more after the event, however, Mary Frances Metrick is here from the Future Caucus board. But for now, let's hear from Layla.
I'm so sorry I can't be there with you today. Nothing would have kept me from this other than the birth of my first child, a baby girl. But please know from the bottom of my heart, I am so, so honored. Thank you. On June 14th, a man pretending to be a police officer assassinated Minnesota State Rep. Melissa Hortman and her husband, critically wounded Senator John Hoffman and his wife, and was caught 2 days later with a list of 70 political targets. Those 2 days were filled with terror and misinformation. Within minutes of the news breaking, our lawmakers' signal chat lit up, not just with shock, but solidarity. Hundreds of bipartisan lawmakers across the country sharing facts, security resources, and comfort, reminders that even in the darkest moments, they're not alone. That group chat exists because of years of work building something rare across our 36 state Future Caucus chapters, each co-chaired by a young Democrat and young Republican, to bring their colleagues together, build new relationships, and find problems to solve together. Nationally, we've been supporting them with programming that strengthens their policy knowledge and bridge building skills so that they have both the community and resources they need to get bipartisan legislation across the finish line. This is what the infrastructure of trust looks like. And in moments of crisis, it is a difference between division and de-escalation, because without intervention, the path from political disagreement to demonization to violence will continue, taking our democracy with it. But as Dr. King said, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. That's where Future Caucus comes in, but we can't do it alone. I need you all, first, to share your genius with these cross-partisan problem solvers. Through our Policy Innovation Lab, we can connect your bold ideas with lawmakers ready to lead on climate, housing, criminal justice, and more. Second, amplify their impact. These leaders are doing the unglamorous work of governing without the spotlight that fuels and rewards hyperpartisanship. Our Young Lawmakers Story Bank was created to change that, and by sharing these stories in your classrooms, newsrooms, podcasts, or dinner tables, you're rebuilding faith that good leadership still exists and that democracy can still deliver. And listen, it sounds cliche, but I genuinely believe that when we work together, America's best days are ahead. Ella Baker wrote, "Give people light and they will find a way." It's actually the name of an organizing workshop she led. And I'm closing with that because we need to shine that light more than ever today. But it takes more than talk. It takes organizing. It takes coordination. It takes persistence. It takes building the infrastructure to forge new coalitions for the collective good. That is the work. And we need all of you in it. I hope you'll join us.